When I was a child, I loved swimming. We used to go to Texas Southern University summer camp, and I would swim with the boys. There were really no girls who went swimming, so I was the only female in my age group to go swimming with the guys. And we would have an end of the year race, and I never forget, I won first place, even after starting late, because my mother was there and she was trying to talk to me and was interrupting the relay. But when I finished, the coach was amazed and he told her, "That girl is fast. Have you ever considered her being in the Olympics?" And that was the first time anyone ever gave me such a high accolade for my skills. And from that day, I wanted to be in the Olympics, but it never happened. I never even joined the swim team in high school or middle school. I don't think middle school had a swim team, but I never did it. I learned every stroke. I did, however, become a swimming instructor and a lifeguard at the YMCA across the street from my high school and down the street from our apartment complex in the Third Ward area. I loved that job. Even when I took the lifeguarding tests, the instructors and other people were amazed at my swimming abilities, and that made me smile. I love to get in the water and just relax and think about life. I haven't been in the pool in over a year. That's blasphemous. Ooh, that felt good. I did it. I got in. Hi, welcome to my vlog series. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm Patricia Tone, and if you're new here, I talk rideshare, reality, and resolution. And welcome to all my new subscribers. I see you. I see you. So thank you. I was off today. I needed to finish this video, and I'm trying to decide what I want to talk about in this video, being that I have so much on my mind lately. But what I think I'm going to talk about is something that I keep forgetting to share with you all. So, my dad died, finally. And I know I might get mixed reviews on this issue, but for me, I'm happy. I am happy that he has finally left this earth. I was essayed as a child, and that has been a dark cloud over my life, I feel. It's weird when people know something has happened to you, and so the way they interact with you is completely different than how they interact with other people or other siblings in your family. And I understand that completely. I understand it completely. But the opposite side of that is that your other siblings don't understand it because they don't know about the incident, right? And when people ask about me, sometimes there's a jealousy or an envy in the air because they're asking about me. But they also know my history. You know what I mean? Part of my history. And I'm the firstborn. I don't understand how people don't get that. I was here before you. They're going to ask about me, you know. And I was my grandmother's road dog, you know. Mostly wherever she went, I went. You know, we were like this when we went to the country to visit her siblings, you know, and our family and things like that. So they're going to ask about me. Luckily for me, I didn't know what happened to me until I got to high school. And I was reading an article in Essence magazine on incest, right? And as I'm reading this story, I began to have this panic attack and I'm crying and it's uncontrollable. And the teacher is trying to figure out what's wrong. I run out of the room and go in the restroom, and then my best friend at the time in high school followed me into the restroom. And that's when I shared with her what I remembered, right? And so what can you do with that information at that time, right? She was literally the only person I could talk to at the time about that, and I kept it to myself that the memories had flooded back in my mind from when I was 4 or 5 years old, right? Remembering where we lived, remembering where it happened, remembering a tussle between my grandmother and mother. You know how they pull you on. She's staying here. No, she not. She's staying here. No, she not. And there is something else I remember, but that part is locked. And to be honest, I think I'm glad it's locked away. I see a flash of an object that was in our apartment at the time, and I think that object is the key to whatever memory that is. To be honest, like I said, I don't care. It could stay locked forever. I'm just happy that that person is no longer on this earth. You sit there and you try to figure out how a person can even do that, right? And then you try to figure out how the person could do it to their own child. That's the harder part, the hardest part. And you realize that some people are sick in the head, some people have these issues that no therapist or doctor can fix. And so as I read about other people and talked to other people as time went on, that's the conclusion that I came to. He was never there for us as children. You know, we sat there on the porch, we get dressed, waiting for him to come pick us up. He never shows up. And I understood why later, you know, once these memories came back, that was the best thing, right? That was the best thing. At least he had sense enough later on to stay away. That's what I'm grateful for. He had enough sense to stay away from us. Like I said, as I got older, I moved to LA. And when I moved to LA, this was when Bishop T.D. Jakes was doing The Woman Thou Art Loosed, right? And you're trying to understand, you're trying to forgive, you're trying to release the pain, you're trying to really release memories I really wish now I didn't know, in a way, you know, because it stays forever embedded in your brain. It would never go away. Never. Ever. No therapist, no doctor, no nothing. It will never go away. It's always there. It's always there. But in listening to the sermons and the Woman Thou Art Loose, and I watched that movie, and it was hard. It was very difficult. I cried so much, and I've never seen it again. I can't ever watch it again. There are some movies, and we know they're movies. We know they're movies, but the people who did the movies did their research. Um, there's some other movies I can't watch Precious again. That one time was too much for me. I can't even watch The Color Purple anymore. You know, I might have seen it, I say maybe 3 times. Once when it was released, then you know how they show reruns on TV. So, and it might not have been, I don't even know if I watched the whole thing, but it's very painful to watch that because there are so many other elements in that, that being a black woman is revealed in that film. So I can't watch that again ever either. It's hard for me to watch Good Deeds, with the one with Tyler Perry. That was one of his better films in my opinion, but it's painful to watch that because I've lived that too, you know. I think that's why I cater to comedy and action comedy and thrillers and cop movies and things like that, you know, because subliminally I can see, or I wish that all the bad people get what's coming to them, you know. And so in the cop films, they're going to always, most of the time, get the bad guy. Most of the time, in most of the films. I know there are a few that get away, but the majority of the cop films, they're going to get the bad guy. And that's one thing I loved about the Bruce Willis films, the Mel Gibson films, that, well, Danny Glover with Mel in Lethal Weapon. That's what I love about like Rush Hour. Even in like, it's hard to watch it, but in Training Day. But in the end, the bad guy still gets caught. You know, one of my other favorites is Keanu Reeves in that cop movie. Oh, my brain died. Street Kings. That's it. I love films like that. So yeah, let me get back on track. Okay, so during the time of the renewing of the spirit and things like that, I even wrote a book that it's still over there, that I probably still should just publish just to release it, renewing your spirit. And I get a call. Oh, let me back up. So my dad remarried a couple times. And so that during this time he was on the third wife, I think. And I get a letter. Now I know nothing about the woman, never met him, hadn't spoke to my dad in years. I get a letter, and this woman has written me a letter saying that my dad doesn't owe me anything. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm reading this letter like, what are you talking about? I don't even know you. I haven't even seen him or talked to him, but I get this letter. So what does that mean? Somebody been talking about me, right? And I still have that letter to this day. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So I found the letter. Like I said, I still have it. It's dated December 17th, 1991. And she says, hi, Patricia. She forgot an I. So, How are you doing? I'm writing a few lines to say hello and to wish you a Merry Christmas and a profitable New Year. May God bless you as your blessing are due. I think she messed up. Also, I wanted to express some feeling to you. I'm sorry that there is no relationship between you and I, but I do love your father, and I know he loves his children. I don't know how she knows that. If I had to wish, one would be that the Tone family could come together as a family. Patricia, sometimes we have to put the past behind us and reach out to the future. Someone has to take the first step because at this point, no one owes anyone. Your grandmother is very sick. Her heart is weak. She's talking about my dad's mom. Sometimes when she is asking me about Karsha, her daughter, she will say your name. So I know she thinks about you and loves you. Let's give her her flower while she still lives. She is living with your aunt. Call her sometimes. I know she would love to hear from you, from all of you kids. Well, I'm going to end this letter now, and again, may God bless you. And then she wrote my aunt's name and number down. So, first of all, you know that pissed me off, right? Because I never met you. How dare you tell me that no one owes me anything? You don't know me. You don't know my life. Never met her in my life. Never. To say that she wished the Tone family could come together as a family. My mother used to take us over our grandparents' house, over my dad's parents' house. Yes, she did. So I don't know how or why that wasn't brought up because we met them. We've been over there. They never, to my knowledge, came to anything we ever did as children. So that part too started making me get upset and I had to calm down. So then sometime later, I was going through financial troubles. This was the 90s. I was just fresh out of here by myself. And so my dad writes this letter. Dear Patricia, I am sending you $50 now to help you out. And I will send you another $50 on the 31st of August. Seems to me the only time you want to get in contact with me is when you need something. The only person I have regular contact with is, and he wrote, my sister. I will try to do for only the person I am in contact with regularly from now on. I hope you make it good in school. So I guess this was sometime later when I was taking some class or something in some school. I don't even know. There's no date on here. And I don't even ever remember him giving me any money. But if he did, he said he included it, I guess, in this letter, the $50. But I can bet on the Bible he can send me that other 50. I ain't no way. Ain't no way. And so this letter, and the only reason he had contact with my sister is because when I told her about this letter, I gave her that phone number. And so, they all get amnesia on facts sometime. And so that's how she had any information on my dad, was through me giving out the number. So anyway, let's fast forward. I moved back to Houston a couple times. I didn't see him at all that first time. That second time I went back, I was there 0506, and that's when I went back to school. I had made a decision to go back to college, and I went to the HCC campus out in Stafford, which it wasn't too far. It might be a 15-20 minute ride at the most, but I didn't have a car, so I had to ride the bus, which made it longer. And then the bus didn't go to Stafford. So Stafford, where that campus was located, there was no city bus around. I would have to walk from the county line of Houston, and the bus stopped near like a Burger King on one of the side streets, and then walk down the street crossing into the city of Stafford. And that was a 45 to an hour walk. And I did that almost every single day, to and fro. And so one time I was really sick. I was on my cycle, and I was really, really sick. It was over 100 degrees. It was extremely hot. And so as I started to try to walk to the bus stop, I was near faint. I had to stop. And so I started calling people to see if I could get a ride. Nobody was available. Some people didn't answer the phone. And so I had my dad's phone number in my phone. So I called him. He lived in the area. And I said, I'm not feeling well. I can't reach anybody else. Can you give me a ride home? And if I tell you, my dad came and picked me up. And when I got in the car, he starts yelling at me. Why you call me? Why you always call me? You don't never call me unless you need something. Really, dude? Really? Count the times you've called me, sir. So I'm in the car, and we get close to the house. I said, you know what? I'll never call you again. Ever. Ever. Now, I jumped past something. I'm going to go back. This is 2005 or 6, somewhere in there, right? But let me back up. Okay, so the time that she sent this letter is during that woman thou art loose phase, right? And so I wrote a letter to him saying, I forgive him for what he did. I remember what he did. I've been knowing for years. Okay, and now that's probably why she wrote this letter. So they probably received my letter first due to me watching Bishop Jakes. And I said, I'm trying to forgive you on what you did to me, blah, blah, blah. And I sent one to him, and I sent one to my mom. And he didn't respond, but she did. So she wrote this not knowing exactly what I was talking about. But sometime later, and I don't even know. Okay, yes, I do. Let me back up. I'm looking at the date. I'm sorry. So from 91 to 94 is when I lived in this apartment over here off 60th and 10th. And so it had to be a year or two later when I get a call from him saying he's coming to LA for a visit. And I'm like, okay. And he said he wanted to know if he could stay with me. I say, stay with me? What do you mean, stay with me? It's only for a few days and blah, 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 blah. Now, granted, I'm going through the woman thou art loose mess, too. I told him I needed to think about it, but I eventually said, okay. I said, okay because I knew I would be at work all day. I wouldn't be around. I said, look, I'm going to be at work all day. I'll have to just give you a key or whatever and, you know, let you do whatever it is you have to do. And so I did that. He gets there. I go to work. He meets up with a friend. So the next day he was like, I think it had to be a weekend day because his friend invited us to his club, which was Snooty Fox or some Fox or something. It was off of Martin Luther King and Crenshaw over there next to the Crenshaw Mall. And so I went with him, and he and his friends are sitting over here. I'm sitting over there, and he's just laughing and talking with his friends and things like that. And his friend could tell that something was off, but he kept looking at me. You know, my dad was here and the friend was there, so his eyes kept glancing over at me, who's sitting over here. And so we get back, and I go to bed. Next day, I go to work. This time I'm working the night shift, the late shift, 2 to 9 or something like that. And I get home. He's in the room. The door is open, but he's asleep. And I'm sleeping on the couch. I had this nice extra long couch. I had it reupholstered and everything. I love the couch that I got from my neighbor. And so I get up in the morning and, I'm walking to the restroom and the door is open. And he's in there with no clothes on, bucket naked. I can't even explain the anger. I can't even explain the true feelings I had that day. I can't. So I go in the restroom, slam the door, and I stay in there for a while. And I hear him up. So when I hear him walking, I went on and came out, and he was leaving that day. And so what I noticed when I came home, he had bought some used furniture from some store off Crenshaw or whatever. And I said, why you buy this? I don't need it. It was just a table and some end tables. I said, I didn't need this. Why you buy this? And he said, you ain't got no furniture. I said, I got the furniture that I want. And to be honest, I didn't have a table because I worked out in the living room, right? But he didn't know that. So I just said, okay, thank you, thank you. And so I said, what time you leave? He said, oh, I'm going to be leaving soon, but I'm going to take it to the store and buy you some groceries. You ain't got no food in there. So it was like just a little something. I said, oh, okay, thank you. It was, I want to say, I'm remembering like it's like 60 or 80 bucks worth of food. That's a lot back then in the 90s. That was a lot. And we went around to the Ralphs off Crenshaw and Slauson. I went upstairs and that was it. He was gone. That was the end of all communications with him. That was it until 2005 or 6. And the reason I don't know if it was 5 or 6 because I was in school for a whole year. I don't know what the exact time frame it was that I needed him to pick me up, to give me that ride home for being sick. So yeah, as time went on, he and my sister got to be friends, and my brother, and she worked with him, and blah, 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 right? So when he got sick some years ago, he called my sister to take care of him because he was now divorced. He was, by himself. He didn't have anyone. And so she started looking out after him. He passed away not too long ago. I don't know about y'all, but I just felt I was just happy, relieved that for me, one of my demons had died. That's how I felt. That's how I feel. One of my demons is now dead. One of my devils is dead. And I feel like I am able to exhale a little bit from that person. And that's that. So he didn't leave me anything. I don't know if he even wanted to leave anything because my sister was over the account. So I'll never really know anything that he may have said or done or wanted to do. We'll never know because my sister handled that. But yeah, I've been meaning to tell y'all that I'm happy it's over. I'm happy that spirit is over. It's gone. So yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of feedback about this. You telling everybody your business, our business on the internet, and I don't give a damn. Don't give a damn. This is my life. This is what I live with. It's also releasing some of those energies where people think they can treat me any kind of way. They can talk about me, condemn me, hate me, just make me feel like an outcast, or, boycott me, cancel me, all of those things, is for me how some people think they can treat me all the time. Disrespect me if I ask you not to do something because it bothers me and you still do it and you think that's okay. Yeah, screw you too, So that's how people are. You know, it breaks my heart when I used to read the stories about how some other women say their mother blamed them for the incidents and all that stuff. I don't know how a parent could do that, or how a mother, a female, can treat their child like that and play like it didn't happen, or play like it was their fault, or they did something wrong. And it is just unbelievable at some of the stories I've heard about how the mother acted. But those stories are so similar to mine, and how their life has been a roller coaster ride. I still see now with the social media, there are quite a few people telling their stories to get it out of their system. And some of them have really made a good life for themselves despite of the trauma that they had. And I love seeing that. I love seeing them win in the end. That's all I have for now. Don't let nobody tell you can't tell your story. I don't care who you are. Those narcissist people, those selfish people, those people who want to still continue to make you feel like you're suffering, the disrespectful people, don't let them win. You can tell your story. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, share this video with your friends. I'll see you next time.